Did you feel that chill, that sudden heartbeat skip when the leak surfaced online? What if the end of Endgame was never an ending at all? Avengers Doomsday opens with shock, nostalgia, and guilt, dragging Steve Rogers back into destiny, consequences, and a multiverse quietly collapsing around his happy ending. Recent leaks describe a camrip teaser, rough, shaky, forbidden, yet explosive in implication. Marvel rarely stumbles accidentally with marketing. When something leaks this specific, this emotional, it usually means the studio wants whispers spreading like wildfire, preparing audiences mentally for a return that rewrites everything we thought was finished. The teaser reportedly focuses entirely on Steve Rogers, not the Avengers, not the multiverse, not Doom, just Steve. That alone is a statement. Marvel is reminding us who anchored this universe emotionally, from the grenade dive in the first Avenger to the broken shield moment against Thanos in Endgame. We see Steve riding a vintage Triumph motorcycle, visually echoing the first Avengers wartime aesthetic and his quiet rides in the Winter Soldier. This isn't modern Steve. This isn't retired Steve. This is a man visually placed between eras, symbolizing someone who never truly belonged to one timeline. He arrives at the same White House from Endgame's final scene, the place where he chose Peggy, love, and silence over endless war. Marvel deliberately revisits that location because it represents the controversial choice that split fans and, possibly, the multiverse itself. Inside, Steve looks at his old Captain America suit, the fish-scale armor last seen during his classic missions. This moment mirrors Iron Man staring at his suits in Iron Man 3, confronting identity. Steve doesn't touch the shield. He doesn't suit up. He hesitates, and that hesitation matters. Instead of lifting the shield, Steve picks up his infant son. That single action reframes everything. For the first time, Captain America has something to lose. In the MCU, that has always been dangerous. Heroes without attachments save worlds. Heroes with families risk burning them down trying. The teaser ends with text cold and final. Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday, not Captain America. Steve Rogers. Marvel is separating the symbol from the man, signaling this story isn't about legacy, but consequence, regret, and responsibility catching up with a soldier who chose peace. Reports suggest this is the first of 4 character teasers, rotating exclusively before Avatar: Fire and Ash. That strategy echoes Infinity War's targeted marketing, but sharper. Marvel is rebuilding trust by spotlighting pillars, starting with Steve, then Thor, then Doctor Doom, before uniting them explosively. Insiders claim Steve Rogers is positioned as a lead character, not a cameo. That changes everything. This isn't nostalgia bait. This is a narrative pivot placing the moral center of the MCU back onto the man who once said, "We don't trade lives," now forced to confront what his choice cost. The biggest theory emerging is the incursion theory. In Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, we learned incursions happen when timelines bleed together. Steve's decision to remain in the past may have stabilized one life while destabilizing countless realities, slowly poisoning the multiverse from its foundation. Think about it. Steve returned stones correctly, but he didn't return himself. He created a branching timeline anchored by a super soldier, an anomaly carrying future knowledge, advanced biology, and moral influence. That timeline surviving might require other timelines dying. Balance demands payment, and the bill has arrived. This theory mirrors Jonathan Hickman's Time Runs Out storyline, where the multiverse collapses due to unavoidable incursions. In comics, Molecule Man is the catalyst. In the MCU adaptation, Steve Rogers replacing that role makes emotional sense. His goodness accidentally becomes the trigger for universal decay. Enter Doctor Doom. If rumors are true, Doom isn't hunting Steve out of cruelty. He's hunting him to save everything. Doom believes sacrifice is necessary, and if one man's happiness threatens infinite worlds, Doom will choose worlds every time, even if that man is Captain America. This reframes Doom as a terrifying mirror to Steve. Both believe in responsibility. Both carry nations on their backs. The difference is choice. Steve chose love. Doom chooses survival. Their conflict becomes philosophical, not just physical, echoing Civil War's ideological warfare, but magnified across realities. The presence of Steve's son raises the stakes brutally. In comics, Doom targets children to break heroes psychologically, notably the Fantastic Four. Translating that to the MCU gives Doom leverage Steve never had before. Threatening a child transforms Steve from symbol into desperate father. This also explains why Steve didn't return earlier. A man with nothing to lose fights forever. A man with everything to lose hides. Steve's silence across Phase 4 and 5 suddenly gains meaning. He wasn't absent. He was protecting something fragile, unaware the danger was cosmic, not local. Fan reactions have been violently divided. Some celebrate the return of the original Avenger, craving emotional stability after recent uneven phases. Others call it desperation, accusing Marvel of retreating into nostalgia after box office disappointments and fragmented storytelling weaken trust in new heroes. A major concern centers on Sam Wilson. Endgame crowned him the new Captain America, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier explored his burden deeply. Bringing Steve back risks overshadowing Sam, turning his hard-earned arc into a footnote rather than the future Marvel promised. However, there's another interpretation. Steve returning as Steve, not Captain America, might actually strengthen Sam. The shield remains with Wilson. Steve becomes the cautionary tale, the man who broke reality, while Sam represents the Captain America who stays, leads, and protects the present timeline. This parallel could redefine leadership in the MCU. Steve symbolizes consequence. Sam symbolizes continuity. Doom challenges both. One broke the rules. One follows them. The question becomes which version of Captain America the universe actually needs to survive what's coming. Marvel has always thrived when character choices drive spectacle. Infinity War worked because failure felt earned. Doomsday appears to return to that philosophy. The multiverse isn't breaking because of random magic. It's breaking because a good man wanted peace after decades of war. The retirement home sinkhole analogy fits perfectly. Steve built a peaceful life on unstable ground. Everything looked fine until reality cracked beneath it. Now the only way to save the neighborhood is to tear down the very life that finally made him happy. Visually, expect echoes of Endgame's final battle, but emotionally inverted. Instead of portals opening to unite heroes, Doomsday may show realities closing, heroes disappearing, and Steve standing at the center, realizing that the universe he saved now needs saving from him. If Doom is positioned as a necessary antagonist, audiences will be challenged morally. Do you side with the man who saves infinity by destroying one family, or the man who protects his child while countless worlds burn? Marvel hasn't asked a question this cruel since Infinity War. This storyline also restores mythic weight to the MCU. Gods, soldiers, kings, and scientists collide again under one philosophical conflict. That cohesion has been missing. Steve Rogers returning isn't about comfort. It's about restoring emotional gravity the franchise was built upon. The teaser's simplicity is intentional. No explosions, no quips, just a man, a suit, and a child. Marvel is reminding viewers that the loudest stories often start quietly, with a choice, a glance, and a refusal to pick up a shield. If Thor's rumored teaser follows, expect grief and endurance. If Doom's teaser lands, expect dread and inevitability. By the time the full trailer drops, audiences won't just want Doomsday. They'll feel responsible for watching it unfold. Avengers Doomsday isn't about assembling heroes. It's about dismantling illusions. The illusion that happy endings are free. The illusion that heroes can walk away. The illusion that the multiverse can survive without consequences for bending time itself. Steve Rogers returning isn't fan service. It's a reckoning. A soldier coming home, realizing home is the battlefield now. A father understanding that love doesn't erase duty. A legend learning that even legends must answer for what they break. If this theory holds, Doomsday could redefine the MCU's future, closing the nostalgia chapter while honoring it honestly. Not by celebrating the past, but by holding it accountable and letting new heroes rise from the consequences left behind. If you love deep Marvel breakdowns, grounded theories, and storytelling that respects your intelligence, this is your universe. Subscribe to FilmVerse Hollywood, hit like, and join us as we decode every secret Marvel doesn't want you noticing. The multiverse is breaking, and we're just getting started.